I wanted to go into the max effort days a little bit here and kind of give a breakdown of what each day looks like and how they differ, and also go into a little bit where maybe beginner lifters and advanced lifters and intermediate lifters all kind of approach this in a different way. And I think this is part of the reason that Conjugate gets a bad rap for beginner lifters or for raw lifters for that matter. It just comes down to exercise selection in my opinion. So what's the goal for a max effort day? Max effort day goal is to hit 2 to 4 lifts over the 90% mark for that lift. You should be trying to break your PR for that lift by 5 to 10 pounds if you can. If you can't, and it's just not there that day, that happens, that's okay. But you want to get into that 2 to 4 rep range, and usually you'll do that on your workup sets anyway. So the goal for max effort day is just to strain. You want to work hard under a heavy load and be able to start straining and thinking while you're straining of how to complete the lift. Right? When we get to heavy sets a lot, especially when we're doing a lot of lightweight and like you went in a block periodization and you do a lot of reps under a sub-maximal load, sometimes those first couple of lifts when it gets really heavy, it's almost a shock. You forget what it's like to strain that hard for one rep. So this teaches you how to do it week in and week out. You get very comfortable thinking and straining, and that's the ultimate goal here. So what I've been doing is I've been rotating lifts in that have a better correlation to my raw, we'll use the bench press, we'll go in upper body day because it's a little bit easier to talk about. So I'll use lifts instead of getting crazy with accommodation or getting crazy with really movements away from the specificity of a competition bench press. I'll do things like a close grip bench, a one board, a slingshot, a 2 board, a floor press. I'll use movements like that are kind of close to home to the competition bench instead of some of the crazy variations that are out there that kind of get you away from your normal bar path. I think some people make a mistake there if they're only a raw lifter and they're getting too far away from the competition bench. So that could be definitely a problem that people run into. Also with a beginner, somebody that just needs rep work and technique work, staying close to home is going to pay better dividends as to something that's going to be like a 3 board, bench press against chain or against band. It's not really specific. It's not really specific to a lift that they're trying to become proficient in. So that's where people I think have a hard time as a beginner or an intermediate lifter that still need reps under the bar, where they run into trouble at Conjugate. They just kind of get too crazy with it. So I picked my main lift for today, and we'll go with, let's use a close grip bench press today for an example. So we're gonna go with 2 to 4 reps over 90%. We're gonna try and break our best close grip bench by 5 to 10 pounds. If we do that, great. If we don't, it's okay. We're just gonna try to maintain the 2 to 4 reps over the 90% mark. Once I hit my top set for the day, I'm gonna go ahead and take that number. I do down sets, and the down sets for me has been really, really key in getting volume in and not overusing the reps on the way up. So I'll take 10% off that top number. I'll hit that for a set of 3 to 5 reps, which would be about 90%, well, it's exactly 90% of the day. And then I'll actually do another down set where I take off another 10% and I hit between 5 and 8 reps, which will be 80% for the day. So I'm getting a lot of rep work in still, but still focusing on the primary goal of straining under load and pushing up the top end number though. So how do the days break down after that? My second exercise for today is always what drives the main lift. So on a close grip bench press, we know that it's a tricep dominant movement. So I'm gonna go to something that works the triceps in a pressing mechanism very, very hard. So for me, that could be a floor press. It could be a closer grip variation. It could be a closer grip board press. It could be anything like that. And I'm gonna try and push those numbers up too. So we're still lifting the barbell here. So we're gonna go 3 to 5, we're gonna go 3 sets here, and I'm gonna go 3 to 5 reps, and I'm gonna ascend the weight every time, right? One of the things that I've gotten away from that's been really beneficial in the accessory work is not doing our typical like 4x8 of dumbbell work, and it's the same way. So you're doing 70s for 4 sets of 8 reps. Instead of pushing those numbers up, I'm actually trying to best those numbers also. So if we move from a close grip bench into a floor press, I might work up to a heavy set of maybe, I don't know, 315, whatever it is for the day, and try to push that number up as well as pushing up the main lift. So the secondary lift feeds the first lift. It brings up the weakness in that lift. I'm pushing that lift up and trying to PR on that lift as well. After the secondary lift, we go up to whatever drives up that lift. So if I'm using a close grip bench press for the main lift, I go to a floor press because I know that's a tricep dominant movement. It's gonna help me with my close grip. But what helps the floor press? So tricep work is gonna help the floor press, obviously, but let's try to find a mechanism that's going to mimic that motion. So it might be a dip, it might be a very close grip, like an ultra close grip on like an easy curl bar. It might be doing a hammer press with dumbbells. Anything that's going to work to help drive up the floor press is an exercise or a mechanism that I'm looking for my next movement. After that, and we're going to go a little bit higher volume here. We're going to go 3 to 5 reps, and I'm going to go anywhere between 6 and 10 reps. Again, I'm ascending these weights every time. I've gotten away from the ideology of trying to do 3 by 10, 4 by 8, and keeping the same weight every time. I'm pyramiding up each time, but then I also rotate these exercises out weekly. So if I do an ultra close grip bench for the driver of the floor press, I might not come back to that ultra close grip bench for a month, maybe 6 weeks. So the next time I do it, I'm pushing that number up as well. So the goal is that we're always pushing numbers up, but we're changing the exercises frequently enough that we don't stall out and plateau out, right? After that, we take a look at what muscles are needed to drive up the main lifts for that day. So that would be any exercise that would help us acquire muscle for the driver and the main lift. So again, we're looking at triceps, we're looking at rear delts, we're looking at lats. So the driver for that day might be a skull crusher, it might be a hinged mechanism for the tricep, it might be something for the chest, to start pushing up for the bottom end of the press. You have to kind of look, and this is why Conjugate's a little bit more of a thinking man's game. It's not so much plug and play, like if you're your online coach or you just run a template and it says chest exercise, lat exercise, shoulder exercise. Everything that we do has meaning here. So, and it all changes day to day. The real key to what makes this program really unique and special is the rotation, but it's also what makes it difficult for beginner and intermediate lifters to do. Is people will exit an advanced lifter for a main lift or a driver lift might have 15, 20 exercises that they know are going to be beneficial to their competition lifts. A beginner needs to really streamline that because they're still looking for technique work and becoming proficient in those mechanisms to keep those lifts really close to something that mimics the competition lifts. So there's really no sense in them getting crazy with bands and chains and doing really odd exercises when they haven't got down to basics yet. So I do believe that a beginner lifter can run this program. It all comes down to exercise selection. And then after that, we're going into the torso training, which is key. It's training the abdominals, training the erectors, training the upper back in a stable plane. One of the things that I pivoted out of doing was like dynamic movement for my core. So things like crunches and leg raises and any of that kind of stuff kind of has gone away, and it's been replaced by static ab work under load, and it's been also been changed to more dynamic movements. So I'm doing throws, I'm doing swings, I'm doing all kinds of work like that. That's getting me to use my core, but a lot of it, my feet are planted. And Dave Tate, and he did a great video on this, that when we train our core, we have to train it in a position that we're gonna use it in. So when we squat and deadlift, we're on our feet. Why not train the core when we're on our feet? So it's been a lot of time sets there. So we're doing like weighted planks, walking planks, and I'll put up a video of what that is. Planks against resistance, standing abs, and different types of rotations, and maintaining a tight torso under load. So that's where I've kind of gone with my ab training. It's paid dividends. And then the last thing is the GPP. The GPP is turned into, instead of just regular sled dragging and pushing and power pushing, it turned into a circuit. So I run group fitness classes at Gorilla Bench, and a lot of those circuits could be things that are going to be bringing up weak muscle groups at the end of the workout. So a circuit for cardio, instead of just doing work on the bike or pushes on the sled or anything like that, it might be a circuit of ball slams and kettlebell swings and battle ropes and throws and stuff like that. And it's again a time set for about 10 minutes. We go through 4 or 5 exercises that aid the mechanism for the day, and then we just kind of run circuits that way, 10 to 12 reps, and just move exercise to exercise as quickly as you can. So that pretty much ties up a max effort day. I'll be doing a dynamic wave real soon, and then we'll just kind of keep going.